We're back with post-game analysis of Game 2 between SANDBOX Gaming and Team Dynamics. Dynamics was able to pull off a dynamic game and took Game 2. They pulled out Ash Pantheon Akali comp once again, and this time demonstrated that this team comp is capable. Well, once again, they proved themselves that the draft was not the problem, rather the execution in game was. And this time they brushed off the issues, and then they were able to get the victory. Once again, Kuzan handling Zoe, which has a very superior range, was able to make plays here and there. So Dynamics in general, they fixed their issues a lot that they had in game 1. And Kuzan's Zoe was popping off against his laning counterpart, Orianna. And therefore, this allowed Dynamics to grasp the control of all three lanes, which led them to victory. In the early phase, things were very even. However, Dynamics once shifted that equilibrium to themselves, get the natural buff, and also won the game. And here, Zoe was constantly poking, and Summit just couldn't handle it, and then charges in. However, he was marked immediately and taken down. And Akali is a champion that can easily negate the damage output of champions that have no escapability. And Zoe's play was very immaculate here. Kali was disappointing in game 1. However, in this game, he delineated why Kali was picked. Once again, Kali negating the enemy carry's damage output was very impressive. And in mid to late game team fights, Akali excels very highly. Here once again, Zoe essentially carried his team fight as well. Kuzan's form today is on fire. He was able to pressure Fate in game 1 as well. Same happened in game 2. Here Kennen was in the front without any Zhonya's Hourglass. Here Akali and Zoe were able to pop off. Here Akali and Zoe both expended their flashes to maximize their damage output, and whereas Aphelios and Orianna could not dish out the damage that they were supposed to, and therefore Dynamics was able to clean the fight up. Once again, Dynamics champions were able to dish out all the skill shots to the champions of SANDBOX, whereas SANDBOX champions didn't have the opportunity to do so. And here, there was a moment where SANDBOX stole the Elder, but it wasn't enough to turn the game around. Alright, let's check the player of the game. This Kuzan's Zoe, a deathless game. Even in game 1, if Dynamics executed properly, then Kuzan would have been POG as well. And this time around, he showed his stellar gameplay using Zoe. It's apparently showing off who's the king of the mid laner in the Eastern Conference. And here, once again, Dynamics just handed champion like Zoe to carry the game for them. And there were moments where definitely SANDBOX had opportunities to come back, so Dynamics couldn't put their guards down. Like a very crouching tiger, hidden dragon moment, going back and forth. So it was a unanimous vote for Kuzan. Zoe was impressive indeed. I think Kuzan's form tonight is on complete fire. Alright, road to the playoffs is not easy at all, so let's see who wins out in the grudge match between.
Thank you, Brian, as always, for the translation. And we are getting into our final match of the night. It is going to be the decider between SANDBOX and Team Dynamics. Team Dynamics able to fight back over the course of 43 minutes. They finally got there in the end, and Kuzan's Zoe led the way. Now, we're sending them back to the red side, where they seem to they didn't really use their counter pick potential on that side very well in the draft. So we'll have to see what they do here going into game 3.
Yeah, I mean, the thing here is that the drafts, they're not really playing out in a meaningful way about the comps. It's mostly about the laning phase between these two teams, and whoever just gets ahead in the laning phase into mid-transition. So just seeing what ends up happening here in game number 3, I feel like we should only look at early game potency
yeah, maybe.
paired with jungle, and that probably paints a much better picture than looking at the team comps overall between the two.
Or, you know, both times the blue side of the map was able to exert more pressure on the Rift Herald, and both teams seem to love the Rift Herald, and it's like do or die, and it made a big difference in both of the games. So maybe that's all we're going to be fighting over, and that will be the big difference maker. Volibear is going to be banned here on red once again by Team Dynamics. They did that in game number 1 as well. Karma and Tom Kent. So TF is available.
Yeah.
TF hasn't been available all night, but they could just first pick him here. Fate looks pretty happy. He's like, well, I guess I'm playing TF. That sounds good. He's very strong. And, you know, he's got a good global and all that good stuff, good wave clear, but really his passive is like
His passive
insane.
is quite nuts.
Yeah.
So this is not the TF nerf patch, which really cripples him. And so he's still going to be at that strong power. Ashe being picked up once again. Super early. Okay.
Ashe Pantheon, even Googer's having a giggle about it. Third time in a row that they will pick up that duo, and they did it in R1, R2 in game 1 as well. So they're really not mixing things up.
And they're not going to go for the Thresh and just pair it with a different AD carry. I mean, the Ashe Pantheon wasn't the reason that they lost last game. Although they did fall behind. They're actually going to have a worse 2v2 duo now against Ashe Pantheon. So this is very surprising. And I think that if they're willing to drop Thresh, I think that it's more so that they lack experience in the matchup, and how to play against Pantheon support is probably what's going on. So they have a lot of single target lockdown now with the Twisted Fate and the Nautilus. We'll see what Dynamics want to do here. Mid pool is still very wide open. It's not important or imperative to pick it up right now, but Silas getting hovered.
Galio is another option, but you could definitely see stuff like Camille, maybe a Kennen banned out in the second phase to go along with that. So the Silas just going to straight up match the Destiny Gate from the Twisted Fate, although it doesn't get the same passive, so it's not exactly the same thing.
And we'll see what else ends up happening as Jace banned away now by Dynamics. And SANDBOX, I don't know really what or where we're going at this point in the draft phase, because there's still just so much wide open, nothing's really being pinched.
Really gotta take away Renekton.
It's imperative.
Very high value.
That you take.
Must be taken down. I was trying to read the lips of Yamato there, and the gestures, and try to figure out, you know, what was their thought process, and I saw him pointing at Gorilla. But that could mean a whole host of things.
Yeah.
Especially because he's helping out with translation and stuff like that. Wukong going to be taken down. It's all about the top lane here in the bans.
And let's see what this could mean. I mean, I doubt that we're going to see a... yeah, I'm not really sure. What were you going to say?
They were actually pointing at Summit, not Gorilla. That was actually my mistake, yeah, because they're actually on the other side of the arena, so.
Olaf now banned away. So all of the trio is banned. Volibear, Olaf, and Set removed from the table.
Trapdoll. Not again.
Do you know his alias?
Trapdoll?
Yeah.
Isn't that his alias, Trapdoll?
He has three names.
Oh, really?
He has Trundle,
George?
Trapdoll, and Pillar.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's a little bit less common. But Lee Sin being hovered right now.
We've seen our host of Sad Gragas Bowling back when Gragas was big.
Ooh,
on the
Gragas
red side.
is missing still.
He's gone.
Yeah, he has been
Disappeared.
completely forgotten about. It's very, very sad.
Shouldn't be too difficult to find.
And Kennen, this is a very strange one because now Silas can just go top and be better Kennen.
Yeah.
Pretty much is a pivot that Dynamics now has available to them. And this means that Galio could come in, and then you have Pantheon Galio as a combo. So I don't know if Dynamics will realize this.
Or
pivot?
they could play a Kali for the third time.
Yeah. Why, of course. Or Aatrox.
Nope.
You weren't even kidding, actually.
I see you haven't done your homework in the break. I was busy reading the script.
They don't give it to me anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
When you invoke it too much, they kind of want to, they don't want to spoil it for the fans. So
Yeah, when
they
I
take it away from you.
request it, yeah. It does honestly become a little bit problematic.
Yeah. So now you're lost script.
Yeah. Looking for script, actually,
Yeah.
as some would say. So there's going to be Akali for the third time in a row, so friendship ended with Aatrox, and now Akali is his best friend. Which is actually, I think, right next to each other, both in the English and Korean alphabet.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
way that
actually,
their names are written.
they should be really close on the Korean alphabet as well.
Yeah.
So maybe he meant to take Aatrox 3 times, but he misclicked 3 times.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did it the first time and then he went 0-6 and he's like, oh, I actually like this champion. Maybe I'll play it a couple more times.
Well, SANDBOX's team comp, Kennen, Twisted Fate, Lee Sin, Philios, and Nautilus feels very bland. There's a lot of individual ability in a lot of those champions, but not a whole lot of cohesiveness amongst them. Akali, Trundle, Silas, Ashe, and Pantheon. Definitely a brawlery type of team composition that is looking to make explosive things happen. Obviously, Silas planted there in the mid lane to follow Twisted Fate around.
Yeah. Let's see how it does all come down here. This is a big match, again, for both teams. And obviously, SANDBOX are 1 game closer to playoffs compared to Team Dynamics, who have that 1 extra loss and 1 fewer win. So if they were able to take this win, this is a very important win for them, just because there are a lot of strong teams in the LCK. And so you got to take the wins against the lower level teams if possible. I'm trying to look. They lost to KT and Damwon already, did SANDBOX, so that's a little bit unfortunate for them. As
Oh, man.
I have them butting heads here. The flash comes in as the zoom in shows us that.
Yeah, what this makes me think is that Guger has, unfortunately and poorly, already selected a skill. Because otherwise, with all of Dynamics right there, I'm pretty sure if he skills E, he can avoid everything without burning his flash.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I want to point out here we have 4 Presence of Minds.
Yeah.
And 4 Tenacity runes. They're all in the Precision tree. Every single one of them on the side of Team Dynamics.
Well, they're looking for the Presence of Mind.
There you go.
That's how it is.
They're trying to, get in the zone. They're hunkering down for another 45-minute game, so, yeah, they got to be present for that. You don't want to, doze off or be thinking about something else. Gotta keep your focus. DYN has played Trapdoll 13 times.
Yeah.
This is number 14.
Well, see if this time around anything is really going to be different. Lee Song doing the golems immediately after the red. We'll see if he tries to get creative with anything. Duckdom and Googer are shoving in the bot wave. And honestly, this Nautilus skin, I've said it looks like many things, but it's just making me hungry right now, I'll be honest with you.
What do you mean?
It is looking like some sort of like a bakery strawberry cake.
Ooh,
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
No, I actually see what you
He
mean.
looks like food, I just want to eat him.
I didn't see that at first.
Oh, he's looking like a gingerbread man. With some frosting? With some frosting.
Is the red part the frosting or the gold
Red is
part?
the gingerbread man, and the gold is the frosting.
I don't know. I see the strawberry a little bit more. We have maybe a dead Googer here, but that E ability is really good. As here comes Lee Songer gonna come in, and Googer just accepts his fate. He doesn't have flash, so why are you so far up the lane looking to get hooked by Gorilla? Gorilla says thank you very much, and they're gonna pick up an easy first blood.
Yeah, and it's a really easy kill for them. Beyond even gives away his location because he was sinning. And comes down, shows that he was just at the Scuttle Crab, and now everyone's going to have an idea of where he is as well. Meanwhile, up in top lane, Akali not achieving a whole lot. Fate crashing in against Kuzan. He's going to come over here, see the Scuttle Crab still here. He's going to restore a little bit of mana. Might actually even solo it. For himself, Rich not going to come down. No, never mind. Fate's not going to
Look
solo
at this Chad mid laner.
Yeah.
He's like, the Scuttle Crab is mine. I'm going to get all the vision on the jungler. Maybe I'll steal some popcorn chickens if I'm feeling like it. He didn't feel like it. He was full, so that's why he didn't actually go in there and try to steal some of them away. Otherwise, he would have, because he does what he wants.
Fate. Yeah.
Why did he go for the minion dematerializer on the ranged minion instead of the cannon?
Well, you can use the dematerializer, Valdez. The minions take more damage.
Yes, I know that.
Beautiful.
Is that the only reason? Rich is dead.
Yeah,
there you go. That's going to be straight up, and now Beyond is dead.
Yeah, all right, well.
And you were talking about this, actually, before the game started. You're like, it seems like everything gets decided in the early game, in the lanes, and once again, I mean, it's just blown wide open. It's 2,000 gold at 4 minutes, all of a sudden.
It really does feel like the side lanes for both SANDBOX and Dynamics have a lot of... There's a lot of volatility and variance, and while Kuzan is beating Fate in Game 1 and 2, it never really meant anything super impactful. I mean, you take a look at this lane state, and you just have to really wonder, what is Rich even doing? Because the wave was coming in, so he doesn't have an obligation to really be pushing or doing anything super aggressive. Beyond comes up, and he just dies. So...
이 녀석, 이 녀석, 이 녀석, 이 녀석, 이 녀석, 이 녀석.
What is he saying? I actually don't know what he's saying.
We're not getting a translation if it was slang or something, so not totally sure. Beyond clearing out a ward, he places down a pillar. Oh,
Yeah, that's Pillar himself.
Yeah.
Placing himself and then running away.
I love this Trundle skin though. It reminds me of a Death Knight. And-
Yeah, I guess so. I want to take another look at it, actually. Here's the monk.
Yeah, you see it?
Yeah, kind of.
You know?
A little bit. I can see it.
It's like yeah. It's fine. Hawkshot gonna come out. Spot everything. On fleek now, gonna start up the Dragon. Dragon said it was not having it. Knocks him back a little bit, but not gonna be the end of the world. SANDBOX are ahead 2,000 gold. Now they're gonna be up Infernal. And honestly, Valdez, if we use Game 1 and 2 as a sample size, and just looking at the way everything's unfolding here, things are probably just going to be really rough for Dynamics, and then it's going to be a very slow and steady bleed out. Mountain is coming up second, so the best two early game Dragons can go the way of SANDBOX. Obviously, you can make an argument for Ocean super early on, depending on very specific circumstances, but we'll see if SANDBOX can roll Ocean as the Soul.
Yeah, got a while on that one. Probably going to be about 10 minutes or so. Probably a little bit longer, as they don't take them right off of spawn. Yeah, you can see that Gorilla's feeling it. I think he's had a really great series, by the way. Even in Game 2, where his team was losing, there were multiple great flays and lanterns, and he was eating so much of the damage and frontlining really well on the Thresh. I think that he's actually had a great series. Not to forget about his Tahm Kench in Game number 1. Really just want to highlight that because I think that Gorilla in the beginning of Summer was struggling a little bit. Looked a little bit out of sorts, too aggressive at times. But he's really dialed it back and become a great defensive support for his team.
And I think that, I mean, in general, SANDBOX, they've been having a much better time, obviously, as the season has been progressing. And it's mostly just East versus West is really proving difficulty. But beating Dynamics here is very big for them. Because Dynamics were looking like they were going to be the gatekeeper to the West side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And Dynamics have really fallen apart here. The longer that Summer has continued to go on.
Well, taking a look at this, both of these teams have an insatiable thirst for the Rift Herald. I don't know what it is. Even Team Dynamics are like, we're so far behind. You know what's going to help us get the Rift Herald? Is a lane swap. Center or bottom lane top. They are going to just let this one go as they realize, well, we can't actually fight over this. And they were also looking for plays with the lane swap. Didn't exactly pan out as the arrows did go wide. There was a big rotation up towards the top side by Root as they're going to mirror now the rotation from the side of Dynamics.
Well, still a 2,000 gold lead being locked in here. 2 minutes until that Mountain Drake comes up. Rich is going to have to back up and recall. Not a whole lot of proactive gameplay, though, happening outside of those early game kills. Trundle still waiting for his Cinderhulk to eventually get completed. Root shoving in this wave. Gorilla and Googer just sort of dancing with one another at an arm's length. Not really any openings, though, for either of these two supports to go for anything too fancy. And I don't think there's really a reason to. We could actually see a lane swap initiated back in about a minute, just so that the bottom lane can be in close proximity to that dragon. On-fleek leashing the blue up for Fate, does have the Rift Herald, able to use it pretty much any time. Should probably be planted in mid, so that it doesn't open up the game too quickly, especially not when SANDBOX is having such a good time in the laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've seen. I think we've only seen it maybe once or twice in Summer, where teams did make that calculation in their mind, and they're like, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to break this turret. And they go back and they get a better back and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're going to do it, but I don't mind the idea. And yeah, just looking at some of the lanes here, you see that Summit, they're maybe trying to wait and bait for this one. As Rich gonna come in from behind as Beyond is, well, he's all alone, he's gonna die. And, well, they're gonna get on top of Summit at least. So kind of trading the heavy amount of CC that both compositions do have into one player and just blowing them up.
Oh!
As nice, but it is Pantheon, so not the guy you were looking for. They're still going in for this as the kick is enough as Root from about 7,000 trillion miles away is able to one-shot him.
Yep.
And take him down.
And they get a lot of the turret plates down there in bottom. Mountain Drake is up as well, and Googer, having just expended the Grand Skyfall, is not going to be able to get down to the Dragon and help his team. So this should be Mountain.
Okay. Yeah, they're going in here. That's a nice knock-up, but Kuzan is going to die. It's the trade for the Felio, so it's not half bad. Gorilla pretty low. Fate's still around. He's waiting for this, but take a look at Duck Dom, who has so much room. I don't know why Rich took that, actually.
He's dead to red.
Hey.
Oh,
So
no!
close. So close. Oh, the flash by On Fleek. What is he doing?
What?
It's not going to work out. And now we got, oh, I thought he had Hex Flash there, but not quite. Something else is now Fate is going to flash in and not get a kill. And here we go. Another TP is going to come in. Okay, he's going to try to lock down Gorilla here. Might just be able to with the flash. Nice prediction there. Gets the extra kill, and now Summit is going to go down as well. They were in such command of this game, but they stuck around for so long. Even after Aphelios went down, that Team Dynamics were like, yeah, sure, we'll take the fight.
The series of events that just unfolded in the last 2 minutes is horrifying. Pretty much, as SANDBOX, like you were saying, they were in absolute and total control.
Oh,
Okay, hold on, it's not over yet. We're getting some action this game.
Oh, boy.
A kill a minute.
Here we go. They're looking for Duck Dom, and there he goes. That was a nice kick, actually. Oh, applaud that kick. That was a good play by Flake, and that's going to net them 2 kills just like that, as they did not respect, this time, the teleport coming in from Fate.
Well, SANDBOX now, Fate's going to be able to get the solo turret gold, most likely. Never mind, Kuzan's going to come down here and try to defend it. Fate did pick up one of those turret plates, though. Uses the gold card into the turret. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Root picking up a lot of gold for himself. He's going to get one more turret plate. Gold leads 3,000. Infernal versus Mountain. So SANDBOX, they're still in a commanding lead. But it definitely could have been a lot bigger. Summit tapping that turret, getting the last plate right there for himself. And so let's take a look at this one more time.
Break it down for us.
So Root, he has Flash and Cleanse available, doesn't use it to reposition. And gold card there on Twisted Fate, doesn't throw it onto Beyond because he's saving it for Rich, but he doesn't need to save it for Rich. Beyond would just die during that. So at this point, on Fleek, he goes for a super flip for no reason whatsoever because the objective should still be the priority. And then here, Fate flashes forward, but he doesn't have the damage to get the kill. Guguri arrives, teleport comes in, and then Gorilla's gonna flash in point-blank range in the same direction as Silas's skill shot. So, gets flashed up anyway. Summit goes down shortly. Okay, the action just never stops.
What? Well, that's another kill.
Gate. Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like a straight-up TF play, that one, so no replay required, perhaps, as I think we're going to get another kill real soon. Anyway, as we are going to go for Shirley here. Going to look to take it down. And it doesn't look like Team Dynamics want any part of it. They're just all going to go back and buy up their items instead.
And with the itemization that Silas has gone for this game, he's going to get very stunted on his third item. So we'll talk about it after the replay. This was very bizarre. They tried to chain the CC. I have no idea what Ashe is thinking flashing there. I can't come up with anything because Lee Sin is always going to kill her every day of the week, even if Trundle arrives. So,
yeah.
A mystifying choice there. And then right here, Rich just getting caught out by the Twisted Fate, not respecting it. And so,
thank you.
This should be a pretty easy mid to late transition out of SANDBOX. They should be able to close this game because when they had a lead, it went a lot smoother than when Dynamics had it in game number 2. But just the early game advantages, they play such a key role. And even though Kuzan is doing pretty well in the games, it just doesn't seem to really matter. Everything else on the side of Dynamics really falling apart at the wayside.
Yeah, you can't win with, you know, just one player. We saw that even in game 1 where he was doing pretty well on Azir early on in the game, but then wasn't able to actually close it out for his team. And it did end up being the Cloud Soul, which is kind of interesting here. I suppose, even though the TF Ultimate is not going to be used off cooldown, you can still get maybe 1 or 2 extra in the game. But we'll have to wait and see how that does pan out. Depends on the pace of the game. And yeah, they're just setting up here for the Dragon, and you can see that Team Dynamics have 0 vision. They're like, well, do we face check? We're gonna throw out a Hawk shot.
Kuzan taking the Kennen ultimate. We'll see what kind of value he can get with it. Fate holding that gold card.
Okay, they're gonna try to lock down the Pantheon, but Gorilla ends up taking so much, but Summit into the back line gets insane damage now. And Root is even gonna survive after all of that. Mr. Pillar not able to help out. Kuzan able to pick up a quick double kill.
Oh,
the gold card.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter though. Still going to be enough as we're just getting triples and doubles traded all over the map. And in the end, SANDBOX come ahead.
And this is looking like this is probably going to be all she wrote off of that fight, because it's another ace, it's another objective going down. It's a lot of minions also getting lost. Or, well, shared, as they were right in the middle of the action. So you're going to see on the right-hand side, Kuzan getting locked up by On Fleek. He wasn't able to join the fight until it was way too late. Eventually, he gets let go. He gets in there, ends up picking up 2 kills for himself. Gold card expires right at the very end, but it doesn't matter. It was a 2 for 5 on the side of SANDBOX. 7,000 gold lead right now at 18.5 minutes. This is very doomed.
It's doomsday scenario for Team Dynamics, and their leader, the Silas, is not able to lead them out of their unfortunate position. And yeah, I mean, they still have a lot of lockdown with like Pantheon, Silas, and Ash Arrow and stuff like that. So I expect them to go for little plays like this and try to bait someone out, maybe try to rush someone down. As they spot Lee Sin, and the arrow will go wide.
And Dynamics, I mean, all of them up here in top lane except for Rich right now, sharing EXP. This is not ideal. Everything is just going completely to waste in mid. And you can see the ping even, I believe, by Root. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go pick up this minion wave. And Ash is going to make her way around.
Yeah. 80 carry players know.
Yeah.
They're like, that's actually a kill right there that I'm just going to pick up.
Teddy was in this game, he'd have 300 farms right now.
Probably. Yeah. Somehow.
One of those things.
Well, On Fleek is in a really awkward spot, but over the wall he will go, just pulling off the bait tactics perhaps. And there's the kick. They get Kuzan, and down will go the slicing Maelstrom. You can see Duck Dom fails the flash and immediately gets burst and torn to shreds. Ooh, Sniperino there.
That is almost another ace, and you can see that Baron didn't even really attack On Fleek there. He was very appeased with the sacrifice of the Prestige Edition Akali. And so Baron is very happy. Yep.
Oh, he even smited it. Good old Root. Good old 200 years. Gotta call him Mr. Years.
Yeah. It's actually Aphelios' last name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Mr. Years.
Bait.
And yeah, I mean, Summit just gets in there, slicing Maelstrom. Fate is all the way in the back line, lands onto Ash and just plants her with the gold card into wild cards. On Fleek makes the ritual sacrifice of Akali there in the Baron pit. As Rich tried to follow over the wall, but everything is just looking doomed. There's probably one more fight left in it. I mean, it's truly fascinating to me, though, that Dynamics are so willing to keep fighting over and over and over as if they are absent-minded to the gold deficit that is present.
Yeah, and they weren't fighting when they were ahead.
It's truly interesting. Truly counter logic. Of, you know.
Counter Logic Gamers of Korea. And yeah, it is confusing.
You know, interestingly
And here we go. This is just going to be Mr. Years showing up. There's the knock-up, and see you later. They don't have the damage to get into the backline. And Roots is able to stand them up. And really the only question I have is the game over now? I mean, they might just be able to end it from here. They have Baron, they have a minion wave, and it's 22 minutes in. It's only Pantheon available. And that's going to do it, guys. Really quick game to end it. 29 kills in 22.5 minutes here in this game. Real quick and easy was this one for the side of SANDBOX and Yamato. As thanks, Cougar. Thank you for the entertainment. We needed it.
Well,
there's the kill.
There is the kill indeed.
And yeah, I think they just click the Nexus here. GG, 22 minutes, 45 seconds. Down it goes as a happy Yamato comes out here to high-five all of his players. Very clean game 3. There was some moments in game 2 where we're kind of scratching our heads as SANDBOX just got behind for seemingly not too much reason. But other than that, a relatively clean series win over Team Dynamics.
And, I mean, SANDBOX, they managed to topple them here, 2-1. Dynamics are really looking lost so far in this season. They did have that one hero win at one point, but aside from that, the cohesiveness that they once had, the team play, and everything, it's really looking lost as more and more teams around them seem to get their act together. Kuzan, he's the real centerpiece of the team right now, and seemingly the only one that's actually consistently stable and doing things. So, very unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
In tonight's series.
It really is, because their top side of the map wasn't half bad in the beginning. I think DYN was playing much more consistently. In this series, even, he looked kind of invisible if he doesn't get ahead early. And if he doesn't get the first Rift Herald, it's like the game is over for him for some reason. And might have to do with champion picks, but also I feel like just not having the same effect on the games that he did earlier on in the season. Also, Rich turned from, you know, even in the span of like 3 series.
Yeah.
There was that one series where he was playing Aatrox and he was the only person like 1v3ing.
Yeah.
And now he's playing 3 games of Akali in like not very impressive fashion. How does that happen?
Where that comes from? Actually.
Yeah.
It's such a bizarre champion to just arbitrarily decide that you're going to start one-tricking in a series.
It's almost like he went into solo queue.
The level of play is not there.
No.
It doesn't seem like he's super comfortable on the champion. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, not really sure. Even Dynamics' 1 win tonight looked scary.
Yeah.
Not, yeah.
I was terrified the entire time. The bloopers of the Titanic. Oh, man. And, yeah, it's not like a coach would tell him to play Akali 3 times in a row, I don't think, you know. If it is, it's either that the coach has an obsession with the champion or Rich has an obsession with the champion, right?
Yeah.
To play it 3 times in a row like this to, you know, mixed results to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, they end up walking away with the defeat today, and some of the stuff happening in the series was definitely sloppy. This team fight was one of them. But SANDBOX always able to really edge out and come back, and even in game number 2, the resilience was there to drag the game out and really make Dynamics fight for their win. This time around, they never really managed to throw it away. And again, this game, first 10 minutes, so important between the two. The laning phase is dictating a lot of the pace of how everything else could unfold.
Yeah, and by the end of it, it was just, you know, Kuzan was trying really hard. He got distracted for most of this fight by OnFleek, actually, who I think definitely does deserve a player of the game for doing so much in the early game and then having a really clean game of Lee Sin, always being in the right place at the right time. So, gotta hand it to him. So, see Rich tries to get over the wall, and then it's like, well, I guess actually maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a straight up stomp here in game 3 as we're gonna listen in now.
나 골카 3초, 골카 3초. 쟤 노플이야.
별로 나 속삭은 안 돼.
나 그냥 바로 꽂을게.
나이스, 끝내자. 끝났다.
And
무비들인데 이거.
it's over.
아, 이거 LPL 같았다 이거. 저 오늘 처음 사람 같았다. 다행이다. 내가 맞을게.
Someone said the game is like LPL.
아, 오늘 집중 다 잘했다. 자, 잡을 사람. 아니야, 끝내자. 이건 잡아야 돼.
Will anyone die for me?
이거 인정할게.
건 잡아야 돼.
야, 도망간다. 좀만 기다려줘. 이거 잡긴 했어.
It's like, wait, 1 second, we got this guy.
또 잡던가. 아, 넥서스. 얘들아, 나 상태 안 좋아.
Situation is not good.
깜짝이야.
고생했다. 됐어. 잘했어.
Gorilla saying, good job, everyone.
4,000 on Silas. Is that right?
I don't think that's right.
Was that all in the dragon? Did he never land a Q on Twisted Fate in laning phase?
I know, like, what was he doing there? I mean, it did look like a passive laning phase for sure. I just thought it would be much higher.
Yeah, I mean, you land Qs for sure.
That you would expect, right?
I'm
Lost
surprised.
speech.
Yeah, I am lost.
Literally speechless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, there you go. Silas, I haven't been, we had like that 1 week or like maybe 2 series where Silas was like, oh wow, this
Everywhere,
is really
yeah.
good. And then,
Well, some of the
I don't know.
champions that he was good against fell out of the meta, like Ornn.
yeah.
Started disappearing. A lot of people liked it to take him in response to Ornn. Obviously, they have Kennen. On Fleek gets player of the game. Here's who I selected.
Oh, what a vote.
Yeah, what a
Unbelievable.
flipping Rich right there. Beyond was there as well, but does not really matter all that much. He ended up going down shortly thereafter. And Trundle is not able to do anything there. There's really a series of unfortunate events. Watch this ritual sacrifice here, Baron.
Use him.
Yeah, look,
And goes.
he's watching. He laughed at the end. Like, great, excellent.
Yeah. That was a 10 out of 12 votes.
Yeah.
There was 1 observer, 1 media that did vote for mid lane. And I mean, he used Destiny Gate a couple times. That was good.
True.
Either way, guys, we are going to go to the interview. I'm going to hand it over to Brian, who is going to break it down as we hear from the players from SANDBOX.
Alright, it was a match for Road to the Playoffs, and the winner was SANDBOX, so we have a Summit and On-Fleek. First of all, congratulations. Alright, it's your 6th win, and you're the top team in the East. So, what are your thoughts on today's series? Well, we got our winning streak continue once again, so I feel very happy in regards to it. On-Fleek?
네, 저희가 이제 이번 주 경기가 플레이오프랑 직관되어 있어서
Like this week's matchups are all related to our road to playoffs.
정말 기분 좋으실 것
I'm glad that
같은데요.
we got the
오늘
dub here.
용모 상박이었습니다. 풀세트에
Well, it
접전이
was an intense
펼쳐졌는데
battle between
저희는
you
굉장히
guys and
꿀잼이었거든요.
Team
하시는
Dynamics.
내내
We were very
선수들이
entertained by it. What was it like as players in that series?
조금 풀세트를 가면은 체력적으로는 조금
No,
힘들긴
when it
한데
goes
그래도
when the series
저희도
goes to a 3-game
되게
series,
재밌게 했던 것 같아요.
it's very physically demanding. Yet we enjoyed it as well.
네, 보는 저희도 정말 재밌었는데요.
Yep, as spectators, we had great time watching it as well. Rich utilized 3 consecutive Akalis along with the Ashe Pantheon and the bot lanes. What was your take on it?
할 거라고 생각했는데
We knew about Ashe Pantheon coming out once again, However, once we had TF locked in and we saw that Akali was locked in, we were like, are you actually daring to use Akali into TF?
확실히 빨리 끝났어요. 3경기가.
It actually was locked in, so we were a bit surprised. You guys took a L in game 2. What was the difference between game 2 and game 3?
저희가 좀
So in game 2,
뱀픽적으로 좀 별로 안 좋았다.
our draft was not that great. It was very subpar.
경기에서는 좀
In game 3,
다시 잘 나와가지고 뱀픽.
we were able to improve on our drafts, and that's why the game was much more comfortable compared to that of game 2.
네, 저는 썸미 선수한테 질문 드리고 싶은데요.
There's a question for you, Summit.
제이스와 케넨으로 아칼리만을 좀 상대했어요.
You
뭐
faced only versus
제이스가
Akali
편하다던가
using
편하다던가
Jace
그런
and
게
Kennen.
있었나요?
Which one's more comfortable facing
둘
up
다
against
비슷한 것
Akali?
같습니다. 좀
Think two are comparable?
네, 둘 다 비슷한 것 같아요.
Two are comparable.
근데 제이스로는 이제 좀 파괴를 했고
But you were able to destroy Akali in the laning phase, whereas with Kennen, you utilized him as much as possible in the team fight. There were 3 solo kills, and let's take a look at one of them.
솔직히 이 장면에서는
Here?
제이스가 플래시도 없고 트런들이
Jace didn't have flash.
알고 있었나요?
And did you know that Trundle was going to come? Yeah, I knew Trundle was heading towards the upper side of the rift
너무
from a while ago.
심하게 한 것 같기도 했어요. 여기서.
Seemed like Akali kind of acted too much.
빼면은 안 되는 알고도 빼면 안 되는 약간 그런 상황이어서.
It was a moment where I knew about it, but I couldn't just back off.
앞만 보고 이렇게 달리는 것도 중요한 것 같아요.
Well, I guess sometimes it's important to just charge in regardless of the situation.
챔피언 하나만 고르신다면 어떤 게 있을까요?
What would be a champion that could
저는
counter Jace? In
루시안이나
your opinion.
이렐리아 정도.
Think Lucian or Irelia?
챔피언이 제이스 상대로 우위를 점할 수 있다고
Those
생각해요.
champions can get an edge over Jace.
그냥 칼대
Anything else to add, Leo?
다 좋아하는 챔피언이라서
It seems like you like all the bruiser or high DPS champions. So there was a small blunder from you in the team fight in front of the Dragon Pit in Game 3. What was your take? I knew I screwed up big time there.
다음 상황에 일어날 거에 빨리
However,
대비해야 된다고 생각하고 있었고.
I knew I had to react to the upcoming situation.
바로 페이트 선수가 말해줘서.
So Fate shot called on is going to go TP in
잘했던 장면은
to make a play,
그
and I was
전장면에
able to
처음에 이제 판테온
get my
플래시
mind
때로
straightened
게임이
out once again.
시작됐잖아요. 그러면서 트런들과 리신이 어떻게 보면 역갱과 갱킹 싸움을 했는데
Right, Trundle and Lee Sin were constantly going for gank / counter gank plays. You were able to come out on top.
갱킹 시간 뭐 플랜 좀 알려주실 수 있나요?
Could you tell us about how did you figure out all the plans of Trundle, such as like jungle routes and gank paths?
저희 삼거리
네.
왔었을 때
Level one?
들어가서
You came to our tribush,
적플레이 와드를 넣었기 때문에 트런들
and
동선을
we were able to place a ward
판테온이
in the enemy blue.
노플이어서
Therefore, we were able to track Trundle.
좋은 상황 나올 것 같아요.
And Pantheon expended his flash earlier on, so I knew I could make a play if I head down to the bot lane. So game 2 was very elongated, where game 3 was very decisive. Were there any conversations about let's wrap this series up ASAP?
조금
It was
그
more
부분에서
rather about
수정을
draft,
했고,
and we made amendments in regards to our draft, and we were able to excel in game 3. What kind of amendments did you guys make?
좀 무식한 픽 말고 좀 기동성이 좋고.
Alright, let's
그런
try to
기동성이
go with
좋은 픽으로.
mobile champions instead of very tanky and frontline champions. I guess that worked out really well since you guys were able to close out game 3 decisively.
운동도
How
하고
is your physical
관리도
condition?
하고
We
있습니다.
heard that you have a high-rated disc at your lumbar, which is an intervertebral disc. Doing fine. I'm working out and also trying to maintain myself physically as much as possible. How's studying English going?
그래서
I haven't done it.
감독님이 저랑 얘기를
So how do you communicate with coach?
통역사님을 부릅니다.
So whenever he wants to
다른 선수는 좀
convey
간단한
with me,
대화라도
then he
간단한
always
대화가 되면은 그냥
asks for a
저는
translator.
간단한 대화라도 통역사님을 불러서 합니다.
So other players can manage to do some basic conversations. However, if he wants to converse with me, then he always asks for the translator. What about Offley? Well, it's not too bad. Then you can teach him some.
네, 알겠습니다.
Yeah, I
프로포
guess.
진출을 위해서 승수를
Or in order to make it to the playoffs, you guys have to compile as many dubs as possible. So on Sunday, you guys are going up against T1. The closer made a remarkable debut today.
보셨나요 혹시? 못 보셨나?
Were you able to catch the
일단-
series?
예, 봤는데
yeah,
클로저
I saw
선수가 솔랭에서도 좀 봤을 때 좀 칼챔 위주로 하는
Closer
거
really prefers
한다고 알고 있었는데 오늘
prefers
보니까
the high DPS
아칼리
champs
하는 거 보면서
in solo
확실히
queue.
칼챔을 좋아한다고 생각했고
And
그거에 잘 대비해야 한다고 생각이
it
들었어요.
was confirmed that once I saw his Akali plays today, that he indeed has proficiency in such high DPS champs. All right, what's your resolution heading to the next series? Summit first. In order for us to go to the playoffs, we need to take them down no matter what. We'll prep as much as possible. We'll try to
온플릭 선수
perform well.
팬분들께 한마디 해주시기 바랍니다.
All right, on Flick, any words to the
저희
fans?
팀이 이제 좀 플레이오프의 가능성이 좀 생겼는데
We have a slight chance to make it to the playoffs.
저희 힘든 상황에서도 꾸준히 계속 응원해 주신 분들 너무 감사드리고요.
I really want to express my deepest gratitude to all the fans who constantly supported, whether we were on our ups or downs.
인터뷰 감사합니다. 이렇게
All right,
해서
thank you for the
샌드박스의
interview.
공부의 왕이 된 샌드박스의
All
서비
right,
선수
once again,
온플릭
congratulations to the
선수와
King of the East,
감사합니다.
SANDBOX's Summit and on Flick.
네, 이번 경기를 계기로 순위는 또 어떻게
All right,
변경이 됐는지
let's see how the standings changed after this series.
Thank you, Brian, once again for the great translation there of the interview. SANDBOX, they move one step closer up to the top side. And, you know, Afrika, they are still a couple of wins ahead.
Yeah.
At least 2 less losses, which I think is the biggest thing that I look at when it comes to potentially clinching a spot. Now, if T1 and Afrika implode and SANDBOX do really well, then it should be easy to get in. But with some extra wins for them and some extra losses for Afrika, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, I mean, the scary thing, though, is that Afrika goes up against DRX tomorrow. So that is probably going to be a loss on their record unless something surprising shows up. Now, Afrika has recently thrown some shade to Damwon in terms of the speedrun percent.
Yeah.
Any percenting some of the teams here in LCK. We'll see if they can keep that up tomorrow against DRX or not. Southern Prince is going up against a giant that is Gen G. Probably not going to be a good look, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Southern Prince is struggling so much, and Gen G, even though I believe they did recently take that loss, they are still the better team when it does come to that matchup. But DRX versus Afrika should be interesting.
And SANDBOX just has the nightmare schedule coming up. It's going to be DRX, T1, and Gen G in a row. So,
well,
good night.
I think they already played Damwon though, so there's that.
Yeah.
At least they got through Damwon with the 0-2. But who knows? I mean, there's still a chance Afrika do have strong teams to fight too. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, we'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCK. Have a good night.
The world has changed and I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in